Welcome to Jam First. Today we're going to be doing a video on Brands Hatch. We're racing Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution Group 4 car. Having to change tyres on the tyre requirements from mediums to softs. Proves to be a bit challenging for some people and proves to be quite beneficial for me right at the end. We'll get to that. Right now we'll start on with the race. Going to fast forward through a few bits, talk you through what's going on. I have a few troubles along the way, but we get over it as usual and it all works out well in the end. So let's get on with it. So we're lined up on the start, getting ready to go. It's all getting good. Got to give her a rev, make sure she's working good. Lovely. So we're away. Down into the first bend. Getting ready for the rolling start. And we're away. So try to keep it clean first through Paddock Hill Bend, because it's a bit tricky this corner. It can be a pain in the bum sometimes. So keeping it steady, don't want to get tangled up with nobody. Keeping an eye on the mirror behind me and the Audi in front of me. And then braking down nicely for Druids. Getting Druids nice and clean, keeping it nice and tidy all the way through this first section. All through Graham Hill, getting lovely. Now watch the Italiano on the right hand side. He comes across and you jump the cone. Oh, bunny hop. See, bunny hop. I reckon he'd been practicing that down Tesco's car park. Yeah, when he was a kid. So fast forwarding through there, keeping it nice and tidy. Right, coming through Westfield and Dingle Dell. Now these two get a little bit angry with each other and they get a bit of a race on. Nice pass by the Frenchman in front. So the Swiss driver gets a little bit sideways. Now this is where I start getting places. See, they get off into the dirt, right off into the sand. They wanted to go play in the sand pit, and I end up giving chase to the Frenchman and the Portuguese fella who's driving the SLS Mercedes in front. He becomes a problem. We'll get to he in a bit, because he's a bugger. So coming up nicely into Druids again, keeping it nice and tidy. Got to keep it tidy through there. Get a good drive off. Down into Graham Hill Bend. Looking lovely down there. That's where I start to create my chances. Give the Audi a bit of a push up the bum, not purposely. I was lucky to get away without getting a penalty, so I backed off a little just to let him know that it wasn't on purpose. And I give chase again. It takes about half a lap to catch up. And you notice I'm coming round the right hand side, and they take a different line to what I've taken. So I take quite a deeper line, get the brakes on early, get it turned in, and get a bit of a gain on both of them. Coming up into Druids again, they have a bit of a scuffle. Audi goes wide. I try to cut in behind the Audi and he had none of it, but he made a good movement on the Portuguese driver on the SLS, and the SLS didn't like it, pushed the Audi wide. He got himself a penalty for that. Now I'm not the only one he's not the only one that had trouble with that Portuguese driver. Now I managed to get past the Audi and I give chase. I got a penalty because I slightly cut the nose off the Audi on the corner. Not intentional, but it happened. Audi then loses control and loses a bit of time, and I start to make a bit of gains on the Portuguese driver. Now obviously we both got 2-second penalties coming up just as we come round the old Sterling's Bend. So we come around Sterling's Bend into the penalty zone, where we both get stomped on, bam, 2 seconds. That's where the Audi catches up. The Audi gets by and clears by both of us. He's a lucky boy because he can get past the SLS. So I pursue for another lap, and you'll see that the SLS does not like being overtaken. The Portuguese driver is not a happy chap when it comes to being overtaken at all. So coming up through into Druids again I keep it wide, tuck it in tight, try and get a nice drive off, which I do, gain a little time on him, but not much. Gain all my time round there in Graham Hill. Try and squeeze him up the outside, and he try and cut my nose off. See, cut my nose off right there. Try to push me out onto the grass. I knew from that point I was going to have trouble. He's a bugger. That's all I can say. Bugger. So again, I give chase, and I'm clearly quicker than he is down around the rest of the lap. I think he brake checked me there, and I caught up with him, give him a little tap in the back. And I come up to try and take him up through Dingle, but he didn't have none of it, cut me off again. Coming back round now for Sterling. I outbraked myself, had a little tap up the back end of him. Again, like I said, I was going to have trouble getting past him, so I thought, I'll be strategic. So I dive in the pits. I'm going to dive in the pits. I'm going to take my time and get some clear track, see if I can take him on a pit change. So going to the soft tyres now, and being that you have to do it as part of the thing or you end up with a penalty, I was hoping it was going to pay off for me to get the softs on. So I got the softs on, gave chase. Now we'll fast forward through. Lovely job, looking good. Catching up. So we're catching up with the 10th place driver now. Italian guy. He's definitely slower than I was at this stage. But again, he was a bit tricky to overtake, so he ends up in the sand along with the Italian driver in front. Like I say, down through the old paddock hill. He's a bit of a tricky corner to negotiate properly. Getting caught up now, trying to accelerate through, getting the clip short, and we're catching up with the Portuguese driver again. Now at this stage I'm on the soft tyres and he's not, so I'm slowed it down a little, and I think you can see that I'm coming up close behind him. He loses control, gets off the track, gets all squirrely, gets all sideways, and I give him a clip because I had nowhere else to go. I end up with a penalty. As sad as it may sound, that's the way it was. Can't do nothing about it. That's the way the racing mechanics work. So my only decision was get on. I've got to get past him and got to get on. Get anywhere, got to get on. But as proven before in the previous laps that I've been following him and getting behind him, he was not compliant. I was definitely quicker than he was. Definitely. He was still on the medium tyres. I'm now on the softs, so I'm definitely flying. Trying to keep up. Slowed up again. I've slowed the track down so you can see I managed to get up alongside him, and he starts to push me out towards the side of the track. Look on the radar, you can see that he turns into the back to try and push my back end around, but I get on it, I get it cleared, and I get through. Got a bit of a grin on my face, but it's short-lived unfortunately. Make a mistake coming through Dingle Dell, end up sideways. So again, I'm now stuck behind the Frenchman in the Audi. and I'm stuck behind Mr. Portuguese in the SLS. So I've got to give chase. So we'll shorten the track down, fast forward it a little bit, make another mistake there at the top of Druids, keeping everything nice and tidy, trying to keep it as tight as I can. Get on. So not a lot happened for a few laps, and eventually I caught up with him. He's now gone in the Mr. Portuguese has gone in the pits, so I'm now giving chase to the Frenchman in the Audi, and I'm catching him. Eventually catch him up, and we're good to go. So we'll catch it up again. There we go. So I'm up on the Frenchman now. He's being very fair, I have to say. He was being very fair. I think he'd had his race mushed a little bit, but he made a mistake right there on the entry to the start-finish straight. Again, it's a bit of a tricky corner. Can end up in the sand quite easy. And then I'm away. I'm flying again. And really, I think from there on, it was plain sailing, to be fair. All doing pretty well. It was all looking good, looking lovely. And I thought, now I've got to keep it straight. Don't make a mistake. Can't turn it into a Ginster's pasty now. If I do, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. I'm going to be really disappointed with myself. And that's just something that isn't nice. It's not nice. It leaves a nasty taste in your mouth. And it's horrible. Right. So we're getting on. Again. Not really much happening. I've got loads of clean track in front of me. It's all looking good. I'm gaining time. Built up 11 seconds behind me, and closing the gap to the guys that are in front. So at this stage I'm up to 5th, and I'm feeling pretty confident that I've done a good job. Getting on, getting close to the end now. On the final lap, it's all looking good. I'm feeling really good about myself. I'm thinking 5th, I've done well, I'm in 5th. Also in the back of my mind I'm thinking, I wonder if any of these guys in front have changed their tyres. Because if they haven't, they're getting penalties. And if I can get within a minute of either of them, then there's a chance that I can get on. And then I do that. I make a mistake right at the very end on the exit of Stirling's Bend, and then coming into Clark Curve I'm looking pretty good. So we're coming across the line and we're looking for 5th. We come across the line, bumped up to 3rd. Now that's because 2 of the drivers decided not to change their tyres, and it's cost them dear. Now 3rd place for me is pretty good, especially when I qualified as far down as I did. So I was pretty chuffed with that, and I got a feeling that the Frenchman was pretty chuffed because he beat the Portuguese guy who was giving him such a hard time. Well, all I can say was a lovely race, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. So thank you very much for sticking with me, watching it. Jam First, signing out. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, any of that if you like it. If you don't, leave a comment. If you do, leave a comment. I don't mind.